Is it working? Okay. I think it's working. Looks like we are live. Okay. Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday to you all. And how are you guys doing? I just want to quickly check if I'm live and then we'll get on to modeling for today. Today is day 48 and we're going to be doing or modeling a shipping container. All right. I think to the best of my knowledge. Today is day 48 and we're going to be doing. Yep. To the best of my knowledge, like everything works. Audio is good. There's no visual for today. And I think I probably want to bring back visual at some point because I noticed that the view count is dropping and that might be as a result of like lack of visuals. So probably from like Monday, I will turn back on my camera and see if the numbers are going to change. Yeah, today we're going to be modeling a shipping container. Like I said, I already have references pulled up in PureRef. So these are the two references I'm going to be working with. 1, 2. These are 20-feet containers. I'm probably going to make 20-feet containers. I don't know. I feel like I want to do 40 feet too. But that depends on how high it goes. So I already have reference in view. I'm going to bring in a cube first of all. 1 second, guys. All right, I'm back. I'm just going to double check the stream, make sure that we're still live. Looks like we are still live. Yeah, I am going to GZ this up to the surface. That's for the cube, and then I'm going to bring in a human for reference. I mean, I think I practically already know what the size of a container should look like in relation to a human. So yeah, that should be no problems. And the reason why I know that is because I used to work in oil and gas, so I was close to a lot of like these containers a lot. So I think in relation to a human, a container should be around this height. Yep. And then my reference, I'm just going to tune my reference to that scale. So I'm going to bring this right here, turn on transparency, and I think I want to stretch this out on the x-axis just like so, just to see if, and it so happened, okay, it's not close yet, so I'm just going to gx, right, and I'm going to gz down to the surface. And for this, I want to scale from the 3D cursor. I'll scale this down to this point, and this I would SX scale this in just like so. So we got the side of the container. I would shift DY and I'm going to RZ. Here's the RZ90 or RZ180. That's cool. So on the side right here, I can GX or no, let's say GY. Move this into place. I think this is approximately the size of this container, and I want to see if I can finish this in like 30 minutes. So I probably want to move faster. So GY in here, and yeah, we have all our references in place. I can go to the side view right here, and I think I'll just start plotting in my lines. For example, this line is important, and this line too. So we have both, I'm going to bring in my PureRef and just try to pin it onto Blender so it doesn't live here anymore. So for this kind of container, I'm looking at all these rays and I feel like it's too much. So I'm just going to do half of it, right? Half of the ridge. Right here I can GX. And half of it is going to be around right here. So that's the point that I need for the container. On this, I just want to scale on the Z-axis just to contain that shape. And then I can select some edge loops and just place on these areas. One, I think I need an edge loop here too. So for these faces, I can select these faces through to this point. And in order to achieve the shape of the container, I think I would extrude individually first. Let me apply the scale. Insert individually and maybe I can extrude on the Y just like so. Not that, extrude. Let's do the insert again and then I'll scale this on the Z axis and then extrude inside just like so. So that's the extrusion and I think that's perfect. The only thing that might be an issue right now is I think I want to switch over to individual origins and scale this on the x-axis. You done? And scale this on the x-axis. Then I can just extrude this inward just like so. So I'm going to switch this to individual origins again and I'm going to scale this on the x-axis just a smidge. EX, no? SX. So that's cool. Or so I thought. I'm going to undo right back to this point and I think instead of doing it in the container itself, I want to treat that differently. So I'm going to select this, P, separate that selection, and then this I'm going to use to form that shape. So I'm going to bring this in here and then this I'm going to extrude just like so. So I can isolate this and what I want to do is just create the shape that I can put an array modifier on and it just arrays across the entire grid. So right here I can select this edge and bevel it a little and I think we have one part of this. So the next I'm going to do now is I'm going to call back all the other mesh and before I start arraying this whole thing, I want to create another duplicate of this. So I'm going to select this edge. I'm going to go to select and then select more. Right. So we're going to go to view, frame selected, and we have all that selected. Right. So what I'm going to do next is just duplicate. So I'm going to shift DX just like so. I need to make sure that they are the exact. In fact, I think I'm going to use shift DX. I'm going to use control so I get it at the exact same point. Shift DX. So I can repeat that till the end of the container all the way down here. Okay, so that's perfect. So what I'm thinking is that I'm going to isolate this, and then for this back too, they both need bevels. So right here and right here, I'll bevel those just like so. So I can merge by distance, and that's cool. I can shade auto smooth, and then I'm going to bring in an array on this, right? As a matter of fact, let me bring in an array up to this point, and then I can increase the array count. And the reason I want to use an array is that if I will need to do a 40 feet container, I will just isolate this, and then I already have the array system there to modify. So this is good. I'm going to go on to the other detail. One of the detail that I think stands out to me is this by the corner right here. So I'm going to bring cursor down to this point, right? I'm going to bring in a cube, scale that down, G. I'm going to SX, right? And I'm going to frame selected and go to the other view also, just to make sure that I have it in place, and it looks like it's not in place. So I'm going to GY, and yeah, we have our shape in place. First thing I'm going to do is bevel the corners. So I'm going to apply scale, bevel the corners, and then I want to add this a prominent hole in this. So I want to add that hole. I'm going to insert, subdivide, maybe twice. I'm going to convert that into a circle, scale down, and I can extrude all the way. So that's cool for that detail, but this container behind is not making it shine. So I'm going to select this face and scale on the Z, or just delete that face totally. I want to add one more to the center, so I can select these two edges, scale, and then delete that basically. So that's cool. I'm going to go on to the next. There's going to be a lot of like mirror modifier stuff around here, so get ready for that. Next up, I think the detail down here also stands out. So what it looks like to me is, you see this down part, I'm going to select all the way through to this side, right? And I'm going to insert the whole thing, and then I'm going to extrude in. No, I'm going to extrude this in just like so. So we have that extruded. Next step is bringing in these holes here, and for the holes I think I'm going to use a boolean. So I'm going to bring in cursor to this point first of all, then I'm going to bring in a cube, scale that cube down, SX, I'm going to GX, right? Scale down G, and this is going to be at this point. I can flip this to the other side, and we have our boolean object. So I'm going to scale on the Y, so it can cut through the entire 20 feet container. So I'm going to create a difference on that, and cool, we have our shape. I'm okay with that. I think it's perfect. So the next I'm going to do, you see the shape that we created up here? I'm going to I want to duplicate that down here, but I don't want to change the position. Okay, maybe I should. I'm going to change the position of this origin, and then I can duplicate this. Okay, that's problematic actually, and I feel like the only way I can achieve that is I'm going to take origin back to where it was. Right, origin is back to where it was, and I'm not going to get the center point of this container basically. select the entire loop, and I'm going to SZ0. I'm going to bring cursor to selected. I'm going to right click and bring origin to 3D cursor, and then I can select this, and flip to the other side. Still not working, so I think what I'm going to do is just duplicate this myself. But duplicating myself is just going to be, it's not going to work actually. I'm going to apply that boolean, and then I'm going to get another origin for this. So what about for this? Let's see. No, it's still not it. A boolean is back, and yeah, I mean, as we initially thought, I'm going to do this manually. So I can click on Y and select the entire loop and bevel that. So I know that we're cool on that, but I look at that bevel now and I think maybe it's too soft. So I'm going to do a tighter bevel just like so. So I'll duplicate this to this side, and I think this part too should have that same treatment. So I'm going to insert this, subdivide again, convert this into a circle, scale that down, and then extrude this. So this is extruded. I'm going to YL select this and then bevel that just like so. So this looks good to me. I can shift D this. To be honest, I really don't want to do this manually. So I'm going to bring in an empty to the center of the scene. And we're going to use that empty as a reference to do whatever duplicates we need to do. Empty, scale that, and with this empty selected, I can duplicate on the Z, but now I can adjust that to its position, and that looks great. Actually, it looks perfect. Next up, I'm going to add this detail. I'm just quickly going to check the screen. Yeah. Not check the screen, check the stream rather, to see if everything works properly, and then I can get back. I'm going to add this detail. Okay, makes sense. Right here, I'm back on Blender, and I think next stop to work on is there's a detail here that I'm saying that I want to add. This right here. So that is this. I'm going to bring cursor to this point. I'm going to bring in a cube, right? Scale that cube on the X. Is that NEPA? Fuck. So I'm going to frame this to this point. I'm going to GX this. So I want to select all of this. I just realized that these were not beveled properly. As a matter of fact, maybe I should bring in a separate bevel for it. I'm going to apply scale. And it's beveled. That's cool. Right here, I'm going to GY into place and GX. So I just want to create this shape. Extrude this, flip this on the Z, and yeah, I think the only thing missing right now is this detail right here. So this I need to move on the Z, just like so. Ray, please tell me when you're done. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to add RX 90, scale this down, and I'm going to bring in a 6-sided knot. I'm going to bring a 6-sided knot. So a cylinder 6-sided RX 90, scale that all the way down, and I can SY, GY. So that's cool. This right here, this face, I'm going to GZ, select this J, GZ. That's cool. Scale down, and then this I can apply geometry to mesh and then flip. So that's nice. I think right here I just want to bevel this. As a matter of fact, since it's not beveling, let me just use select and select sharp edges and then bevel that just like so. That's cool. Right here I can select all of this, select this face, and then bevel. Yeah, over to more detail. Right on the edge there is a trim line that I'm seeing, so that's to make this door openable. So I want to add in that trim line. Looks like something like this. I'm going to add one right here. As a matter of fact, this should be mirrored to the other side. So I need to create that trim line. So all of these faces I would insert, and you see this entire loop right here. I would extrude in. That space is too big, so I'm going to do that again. Insert, and extrude inward. So that one I'm good with that. So I need to start plotting out the door of this container actually. So I think the door starts from some. I have a reference and I'm actually guessing this. So the door is from somewhere around up there. So I think we already have the space for this door on the horizontal. We don't need to create space on this side. So I'm going to just add edge loops, basically. Edge loops right here. And yeah. We already have the setup for the door. So this, I'm going to separate that selection, right? And I want to create this roundings right here. So I'm going to keep this edge, GG. I'm going to bring in this. I'm going to make an edge right here and then another one right here. No, I can GG this. GG. Right here, I can make this 3, I think. So I can select these faces, and if I would like to even extrude them individually, but I'm just going to select these 2 and extrude inward, just like so. Are these too big? Let me see. They actually look too big, so I'm just going to go to the top and scale all of that down. That's cool. I think I want to do the same for this part also, so I'm going to extrude. As a matter of fact, I need to add another loop to this point, so I can GZ and I can extrude this in, and then do the same for this part, extrude this in. So I'm going to isolate this and just make sure everything aligns. I don't think I can make this in 30 minutes actually. I think I overestimated this model. So I'm going to SX0, make everything flat, and then these faces I'm going to select, right? So I can delete the faces, and then I can do the bevel that I need, that is required for the shipping container. So that's cool. I think someone just commented on my YouTube, and I want to check because I got a notification on my phone. Let me just quickly check who that person is. Name sounds very, very familiar. So I'm just quickly going to check and we'll get back to the stream. Chiki-san. I know this name. Very, very familiar with this name. But yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I think I know you from Twitter, but I might be wrong also. It's fine. So back to the video. We have that detail, but looking at this now, I feel like this is extruded way too much. And it's a good thing that I did this procedurally. So I can turn over bevel, right? And change this to auto smooth. So I can select all these edges. 1, 2, 1, 2, and I can scale on the Z, right? So I think, how am I going to do this? Let me just select the faces instead of the edges. And I want to scale on the Z from individual origins. So SZ, just like so. I think I should do that again. So turn on the bevel. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. This is cool. I'm going to delete these faces, and I can duplicate this selection to the other side, basically. If I do that, I feel like this is a bit too much. I'll be honest with you guys. This looks too much. Even the bevel too looks too much. So I want to shorten up that bevel. Okay. That's cool. I like it. So we need to create the lashes for the door. And that looks something like this actually. 1, 2. I can select that in sets, but make sure boundary is selected and extrude this in. Select this face and delete that face. So that's cool. So in order for that to work, I feel like this door should be back a little bit. So I'm going to GY or GX this. GX down to this point. GZ. GZ is good. So I think in here, I'm just going to bring in a cylinder and form that lock. So a cylinder comes in here, but we need 32 sides on that cylinder instead of 6. So I'm going to bring in 32. 32 is even too much. So I'm going to bring that down to 24. Frame selected, and I'm going to scale on the Z just like so. So this looks good. I can scale down, scale on the Z. I can shade auto smooth and GX this forward. And this part can add in a loop, select this all the way through to here, and I can extrude that on the Y. Right? So SY0, scale on the Z, GY. That's cool. I think there's also a little bit of an extrusion right here. So maybe I can just select this and I'd love to extrude along normals, but no, I'm just going to delete these faces and then do extrude along normals separately, but it's not working. So I can add this, Control A, apply scale. That's cool. Just do this lightly. Delete these faces. Select this fill. Or maybe I should do a grid fill on this. Okay. Grid fill works. Oh my god. I'm no longer adding that detail. I'm just going to bring in the knots. I think I created one knot earlier. I think it was around here. So I'm just going to duplicate that. P to separate that selection. Turn off. And then I'm going to bring that knot to this point. Set origin to geometry on that knot. Bring that knot to this point. I'm going to GX, bring this out. GG. I'm going to G onto this point too. So we have that looking good. Next thing I want to do is isolate this point so I can fix the knot exactly at that point. So I can RZ 90, bring this to this point. Duplicate, Shift D, move to this point. So that's cool. That's cool for this lock. I'm okay with that. I think that's the same applies to down here too. So all of this, I'm just going to convert into a mesh, join that, and Let me see if I can mirror this. I can't. So I remember we have an empty that signifies the middle of this. So I'm going to use that as a mirror instead to mirror this to the other side. So this container, I'm going to mirror. But I can't mirror because I have this down here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this GX. That's cool. On this I can use the, or let me just duplicate this downward. I don't know why that's not aligning, but duplicate this down, scale a little GZ, so I can create space for it right right here. This is the space, this is the space, and we can have this on this side. So this can just be extruded inward and this face deleted. So that's cool. In order to close this out, especially the edges, because there are a lot of like picky space around, I can just extrude this in and already have that covered. There are more places where this appears actually. So I need to create like 2 more of that. Shift DZ. I think right about that point. Repeat that selection. I'm going to place this here, select this and select this, and I can extrude this inward. Select this face and delete those faces. I'm going to undo to where when I closed out this container right here. I think I'm going to undo to this point, and the reason why I want to undo to this point is that when I duplicate this, I want to be able to do all those other modifications I was able to do for the rest. So this extrude in, select this face, delete. That's done. Switch to bounding box, scale this. That's cool. I think same would apply to this too. One, select this and extrude in. Delete that face. GZ. SZ. One second, guys. All right. So quick one before I close this off. I'm going to select these edges. This inclusive. And what I want to do is extrude all of this on the X inward to close it off. But I need to select the others first. So I think these are selected. I'm going to select this. That's cool. Select this. That's cool. I would select this, this. Okay. EX in Word, just like so. So that looks good. Next up, I'm seeing some modifications done to the container down here. So I want to create that too. And thank God we still have some live booleans. So I'm going to use those to create the space. So I'm just going to Shift D, rotate this 90, move this to this point, and I'm going to go to the side view so I can use the reference to place this. And this is placed somewhere around here. SY. Right? That's cool. This boolean I want to flip to this side also. So we'll have that affecting both sides. But now it's crazy that I don't think that boolean is live. It's not live. So I need to select this, and create a difference. As a matter of fact, maybe this can go. Delete these vertices, and this I can just flip to the other side, just like so. But we need the difference active. So that's cool. I think something that's going to be really complicated is add these ions here. All right, so I think I just need to get to that, because I feel like right after that I'm already done with this model. So I'm going to bring in a cylinder, scale that down, scale on the Z. I'm going to bring this to around the side, scale, and bring this down here. All right, so I can scale on the Z, right? And GZ down all the way to this point. So this one. Yeah, well, you can pin the front yourself. Okay, so that's cool. I just want to quickly check the stream and then move on with this. So that's cool. I just want to quickly check the stream. Oh, someone is asking, is this live or pre-recorded? Yo, Kennedy, Hunter Kennedy, this is like live. We're figuring it out on the fly. Mistakes are allowed. Downtimes are allowed. Brain freezes are allowed. Figuring shit out on the fly is allowed. So like I mean, there's just a lot of like polished stuff that we see on YouTube, and we just feel like it happens that fast, it happens that quick. Meanwhile, like I mean, it takes a lot of back and forth to get a model done, no matter how simple. Like literally be a phone, and you're surprised how long you're going to spend on the phone. You know, so this is not pre-recorded. I'm going live. I'm live. I wish I had the time to like model requests so that you know that it's like live. But yeah, shout out to you, man. Like I really appreciate your comments. Means so much. And like I'll usually do, I'll go onto people's channel, and I think the primary thing I try to do is if they are actually Blender artists or 3D artists. But I see it's just a regular channel. So yeah, I'm going to go back right now to continue modeling. Yeah. Next up, I'm going to create this. So these cylinders, right? They are used to hold this into place while the container is in motion. And the cylinders alone, these poles alone, won't be able to do that except they have lashes. So I need to create some lash, and those are going to be used to lash the they're going to be used to lash the rod onto the container. So we have this done. I'm going to create it from the body itself. So I'm going to duplicate this, right? Separate this, and then I'm going to come to the side view, and then on this side, I'm going to delete all of that vertices. So it looks like I selected too much, so I'm just going to select less. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think somewhere around there is good, and I can delete all of that vertices. So I can select this edge, right? And then this edge, or maybe just one of the edges, and just EX or EY rather. And that's cool. That looks good. On this side, I can just flip to the other side and GY. So we have that done. I think what I want to do next would be dissolve this edge and then bevel. Let me isolate that so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to fill. I'm going to take this edge and dissolve this edge. I'm going to take this edge and just bevel all of that. So that's cool. This I'm going to flip, mirror to the other side, shade auto smooth, and that's good. I'm going to apply that mirror so I can just easily duplicate this across. I think something else that I might need for this is a solidify modifier. So I'm going to go down to a modifier and add in a solidify. So that's cool. That looks good. Right here, I would GZ because apparently my model isn't like 1-to-1, 1-to-1, but it still works. So top here, I can shift DZ and GZ into place to put in this lash, and then I need one more shift DZ on this side. Do they have nuts? They do have nuts and bolts. They do actually. Yeah, they do. As a matter of fact, they do have more than one. So I'm going to cater for that. Okay. So I'm going to GZ, bring this up here, and I think we have the solidify done already, but like, I mean, it doesn't look like it's flush. So I want to GX, bring this forward, and then this, we're probably going to take it in a little more. So you see all of this, I'm going to GX. Oh, I already have a bevel here. So I'm going to turn off that solidify, right? Select these faces and GX. all the way in, just like so. So I'm going to bring in this, yeah, and right here I'm going to bring cursor to selected, and I think one of these knots I can select. So L to select this, L to select this, and Shift D. P to separate that selection. Right, origin to geometry. I'm going to bring that knot to this side, and that looks good. I can GX in. I think I want to bring geometry to this point, so this can be flipped to the other side, and this can be mirrored to the other side too. So this looks exactly the way I want it to. I'm not going to apply solidify. I'm going to apply mirror, and this right here, I want to simplify all of this. Right, so all of this is just going to be simplified. Dissolve edge. So yeah, that looks good. I'm going to mirror this to the other side, apply that, and yeah, I think this looks pretty cool. Yeah, next I am going to do is the top one. So for the top one, I'm not going to Shift D, SZ. I think around this point right here is cool, and then I can take one of this and Shift DZ. So that's perfect. I can GX. Select this, GX out. So that's cool. This right here, I'll shade auto smooth, and then I can select this and select this. As a matter of fact, I want to select this knot and just make these ones their own separate entity from this, and then Shift D Z. I'm going to bring this down, and this requires one more down here. So I'm going to Shift D Z all the way down here, and we need one more here. Shift D Z down. So this is cool. I think we're getting the side back of the container now to look good and look real. So another detail is this lock right here. I can't really see it properly from the reference, but from what I can infer, I'm seeing something like this actually. I'm going to bring this to this point, bring this to somewhere around here, and all of this are going to be selected, and I can extrude this, right? Create a new way around here. Select this face, extrude this out, and then I can create some new points here. And I can also select this face and extrude out, but like that would be very wrong. And SY0. I think this also will be SY0. I don't know if I can check my YouTube again and see if there are any replies, any question, and hope the stream is going on really well. I'm going to check my YouTube again and see if there are any replies, any question, and hope the stream is going on really well. Okay, so everything looks good. Depending on how the stream goes, I feel like I might still get on tonight because I'm a little bit at a deficit somehow. I didn't stream yesterday, so I need to kind of make up for that. So I'm going to extrude this, and yeah, I think this is pretty much the shape, but no, not exactly. So, I'm going to do all of that. I mean, and now I didn't say do. I'm going to undo all of that. Extrude on the Y, SY0. Yeah.